U.S. President Donald Trump is once again at the center of controversy, this time for accusing Democrats of leaking classified military information. In a Truth Social post, Trump alleged, and we quote, "The Democrats are the ones who leaked the information on the perfect flight to the nuclear sites in Iran. They should be prosecuted." The statement refers to recent U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites, operations that were carried out earlier this month, without wide congressional consultation. The U.S. military shared a video at a Pentagon news briefing on Thursday, June 26, showing a bunker bomb penetrating a cave. The bomb seen in the video was the same type of munition that was used by the U.S. military in a strike on Iranian nuclear sites the previous week. The video seemed to show a performance test of the munition, the GBU-57A-B massive ordnance penetrator bunker buster. Neither the site of the test nor the date of the test were disclosed. Trump's accusations come right after a highly anticipated closed-door Senate intelligence briefing. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and General Dan Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, held a classified briefing on U.S. strikes on Iran on Thursday, June 26, for all 100 members of the U.S. Senate.
Without any classified information whatsoever, I think it's safe to say that we have struck a major blow alongside our friends in Israel against Iran's nuclear program that is going to make America safer, our friends in the region safer, and protect the world from the risk of an Iranian nuclear weapon for years.
But one key face was missing. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who had previously contradicted Trump on the strikes, though she later reversed her stance and backed the president. Meanwhile, the White House has responded by tightening access to classified intelligence. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the administration wants to ensure that classified intelligence is not ending up in irresponsible hands. She also mentioned that the FBI is investigating to find out who that leaker was, because it's illegal and they should be held accountable for that.
You mentioned this was a low-confidence, preliminary intelligence assessment, and the entirety of that assessment was not leaked to the media. Only tidbits of that assessment were leaked to CNN. And we have seen this playbook run before, where you have people in the intelligence community, or perhaps on Capitol Hill, we don't know, but I believe the FBI is investigating to find out who that leaker was, because it's illegal, and they should be held accountable for that. Leaked bits and pieces of an intel assessment to push a false narrative.
She also added there was no indication that enriched uranium had been moved from the targeted Iranian nuclear facilities before the strike. Congressional reaction has been intense. Democrats are now pushing a resolution that would require congressional approval for any future military action against Iran. But as reported by several media reports, this measure is unlikely to pass, given the Republican majority in both chambers. The president formally notified Congress of the strikes 2 days after they occurred. He justified them as necessary to protect U.S. national interests and in collective self-defense of U.S. ally Israel. Democrats remain unconvinced. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer criticized the administration's approach, saying it lacks a coherent strategy to stop Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons.
What was clear is that there was no coherent strategy, no endgame, no detailed plan on how Iran does not attain a nuclear weapon. Anyone in that meeting, anyone, if they're being honest with themselves, their constituents, their colleagues, would know that we need to enforce the War Powers Act and force them to articulate an answer to some specific questions and a coherent strategy right away.
Senator Chris Murphy went further, accusing Trump of misleading the public and questioning why Tulsi Gabbard skipped the intelligence session altogether.
So all the lies that Donald Trump tells are unforgivable, but the most unforgivable are the lies about national security intelligence. Because when you lie about the threats posed to the United States or about the ability of our military to change realities in a place like the Middle East, that's what gets us dragged into wars. That's what gets thousands of Americans killed. Donald Trump told the country that the strikes on Iran's nuclear research program had obliterated the program. But it turns out that that's not close to true. A leaked intelligence analysis said that it had only set back Iran's nuclear research program by months.
As fallout deepens, questions linger over the effectiveness of the strikes, the politics behind the leaks, and the consequences for U.S.-Iran relations. For more on this developing story and all your global political updates, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Indian Express.